Hello, Internet. Kira is here, obviously. So, today is actually the 17th. Reading Rush started yesterday. I worked all day yesterday. I was exhausted. I did not sleep very well the night before. I maybe got 4 hours of sleep. And, I was exhausted. So last night I came home and I cooked dinner, and then I leaned back. I did some social media stuff. And I was going to read, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up at 11 o'clock and realizing that I need to go make sure that all my bunny babies have plenty of food. So that's pretty much what I did yesterday. This morning I got up around 7 o'clock and I cooked myself some breakfast because I don't know about you guys, but I cannot think straight if I have not on an empty stomach. I have to be able to eat first before I do anything else, and I'm not much of a snacker, so for me having my core meals, at least 3 meals during the day if I can, makes a huge difference for me. So basically I went ahead, cooked breakfast, and now I'm kind of just chilling in my bed. I did a little bit more social media today, got to talk to some people online, which was wonderful, and I have a lot of reading to do. I'm gonna be starting out with my reading. It's gonna be in the Dream House. Oh, I got a little bit closer than I thought I was going to. I'm just opening up the page. Apparently I was very prepared for this, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna be reading In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado, and this is about, I believe, a female couple, and there is emotional abuse. I don't know if there's physical abuse in this, but I know that there is emotional abuse in this. This is a book that I've heard so many wonderful things about, and pretty much everybody that I know that has read it has absolutely positively loved it. So I am going to be reading that for the Reading Rush. I'm also hoping that if I get far enough in that, I can actually go back and read some more of the Blade itself. I am almost halfway through this. This is one of those books that doesn't really have much of a plot, and you have to be happy about that. But the characters, they are amazing. I don't know what it is about them, but basically it's one of those things where I will put down this book and I'll walk away from it and I'll continue to think about the characters long after I've put this down. And really that's what's driving me to go back to this again, was because I'm just oh, I need to go check in with my homeboys or something, trying to figure out what's going on with them. And it's Glotka, he is probably the darkest person in this book. He is a torturer, and he's had a really dark past because he himself had been tortured. He was thrown in jail, he was starved, he has legs broken, he's been left pretty much crippled because of it. And that's kind of his thing. It seems Joe Abercrombie has a thing for people that have some sort of physical disability or something like that, especially either they were born with it or they were given it through abuse. And he's definitely a grim, dark writer, but it seems that's kind of a growing trend for him, because in his Half a King series you had Yarvi, and Yarvi had a hand that was kind of malformed. So it's kind of interesting to see how he seems to love these characters, but I end up really loving these characters too, because they end up being very dynamic and very interesting. And given everything that's going on, really it took us 200 pages to even see good amount of magic in this. There is a magic system, but they don't really talk about it because a lot of the main characters that they have don't really do the magic. They just kind of there's the side characters that are more about doing the magic than the main characters. So there's a lot going on in here. I am really enjoying this, mainly because of the characters. Obviously it can't be because of the plot, because there really isn't much of one, but I'm really hoping to get back to this soon as well. I really loved Lotka. He's just so dark, and his internal dialogue is freaking hilarious. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some reading done, and then I will probably check in with you guys a little bit later after I've gotten some of this done. Hey guys, it is now 11:55 on Friday, 17th of April. I got a little bit of reading done today. Actually, we had the live session. I'm gonna leave a video for that link down below. We read 12th Night, It was about 2.5 hours worth of a read. We did it live, which was a lot of fun. This is the second month in a row that we've done that, and it's really a lot of fun. This definitely felt like it went like a little bit smoother, and I really enjoyed it. I would have gotten more read, but I also ended up filming a video earlier because I got the Chain of Gold Collector's Edition box, which I've already put up on my channel as well. So I'm going to leave a link for that in the description. But I'm still reading In the Dream House. I did not get an opportunity to read anything else today because of everything that was going on. And I made it up to page 76, which isn't very far because I was bad and I procrastinated a little bit, so I didn't really get as much read as I had hoped to. So tomorrow it's going to be pretty much going gung-ho. I might actually, I'm tired, but I'm not sure if I'm tired enough to go to bed. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to end up laying in bed until I fall asleep with the book practically pegging me in the face, because that's what seems to happen when I start nodding off mid-book. So I'm gonna probably like just lay down, relax, try to make myself tired enough to go to sleep. And worst case scenario, if I can't concentrate on this, then I guess I'm gonna turn on the TV and hopefully fall asleep to that, because sometimes it's nice to just have a little bit of background noise, and sometimes like I fall asleep better that way. So let's hope that I do not peg myself in the face with the book. That'd be lovely. Have you guys ever done that? Have you guys ever like pegged yourself in the face with a book, like while you guys were reading, like while you guys were nodding off, and like next thing you know, like you woke up because you pegged yourself in the face? Because if so, same. But I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit more of this read before I crash. I had tea, but it was decaf tea. And so like 10 minutes after I drank it, I started to come down off of it because it's decaf. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, so I'm not really a huge fan of caffeine at all. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, it's probably technically the 18th already because, you know, it's so late. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Kira. It's actually now, as of right now, about 5:30, and I just now finished my first book for the Reading Rush readathon. I doubt I'm going to be able to get to all 3 books that I really wanted to get to, but I at least got In a Dream House read, and I have not even touched the blade itself. So basically, like, I've just been really exhausted today. I've been kind of like, you know, very slowly. I thought this wasn't going to take me that long, but the fact of it is like when the content is a lot heavier like it was in this book, it takes a little bit longer to read because I really just wanted to absorb the things like that were discussed in this, because this was a very heavy book because it dealt with a female-female relationship with emotional abuse, and that was just a really heavy topic overall. So this is actually, In a Dream House is actually a memoir by Carmen Maria Machado, I believe is her name, and she is half Cuban, also bisexual, and she's also a character like that you find out very early on in the book who has a history of sexual assault. So she's already dealing with a lot of emotional things, like questioning her worth, and then she ends up getting into a relationship which also ends up demeaning her emotionally because she feels like very run down from it. This book did an excellent job of capturing what dependence was and how you are perfectly aware like that this relationship is not happy or healthy, but you, at the same time you also are so wanton to have that person's approval, and it's like you end up depending on it like you do oxygen because of how far they throw you down and make you feel terrible about yourself. And so like this book kind of like really emulated that. It went really like in depth, like emotionally, like with emotional abuse. And no matter like whether or not you are in a female-female relationship, which I'm glad that there's a book written like that highlights the fact like this does happen in female-female relationships. But I felt like no matter what kind of relationship you are in, the abuser tends to have the same kind of behavioral issues regardless of, you know, who is in this abusive relationship with you. And coming from somebody like that has had a lot of emotional trauma, I felt like this was a very relatable book in so many levels. And it really just got to the heart of things and like how you end up going back to this person even though they've hurt you. and you continuously go back to them and you talk about therapy and you justify it to yourself, and you're constantly trying to figure out like what you could do to make this person happy, because their approval just means so much to you. And this book just really did such an amazing job of capturing that and diving into it, and also having to constantly ask yourself, like, am I worth it? And like wanting to feel like you're worth it. And the only like way, when you get into this relationships, the only like way you feel like you're actually worth it is when you have that person's approval, even though that person's approval is very few and far in between. And sometimes, normally, like, even it's a no-win situation. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter like if you bend over backwards trying to make them feel better about themselves. It doesn't matter like if you apologize. It doesn't matter like if you like are trying to be physically affectionate. You end up feeling like little proponents getting rejected off and on. And then to boot, this relationship was also a big red flag too, because Carmen was consistently getting gaslighted. And this also did an excellent job of capturing what it means to be gaslighted. Like, you get treated a certain way, and then you end up feeling like you're going crazy because the person doesn't understand like why you're responding, or why you're crying, or why you're upset. And it really makes you question whether or not you are insane. And I feel like this book just did, on so many levels, just really kind of emphasized what it means to be in a really emotionally abusive relationship. It was a very powerful, very, very intense book, and it had like a lot of trigger warnings also. So basically, like, it mentions, there's like off book sexual assault mentions of that. There's also, of course, like, emotional abuse, gaslighting, like how you end up really kind of shutting everybody out, because it gets to a point like where, like, they manipulate you into keeping your silence because they don't want to be judged by the people that you have in your life that they sometimes come into contact with. And it really talks about like how these things can get out of hand and how you end up isolating yourself from people. So I really think that this just did such a great job of doing all of those things, and I really, really enjoyed this. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. I feel like it more than deserved that 5 out of 5 stars. Like, I think it really just hit home on so many different levels. It really dove into it. It didn't shy away from like, every proponent of this relationship that it could possibly dig into. And it was also like really, it's just, and as a note too, some of this actually alternates between first person and second person depending on like what she's talking about. And she actually also goes into the history of abuse and some of the legal things regarding abuse, and it really just feels very complete, because like it really rounds out your knowledge of like, what it means to be an abused woman, how the legal systems don't really have something set in place like that can help people, and how like abuse is such a gray area, and sometimes like, you wish that they would hit you, because like then it would kind of make everything a little bit more black and white, and you would feel a little bit more justified. But the fact of it is like abuse is such, it's a dark place, but when you're going through it, you feel like you're in such a gray area, because like you're able to still kind of justify staying with this person because they haven't physically harmed you. So this spoke to me on so many levels, and I just feel like it was worth every star. Like, it earned every star that it got. So definitely amazing book. But I just wanted to hop on here really quick and talk about this. I didn't get a lot of reading done, so I guess like what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night is me and my parents are going to be having movie night. I'm not really sure what we're going to be watching yet, but I know that I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to try to start another book tonight, because technically I only have one more day to read the other book that I was going to read, which is Beach Reads. I hope to get to that very soon, because I heard it was like, I don't know, like it's going to be like a much lighter read. I probably won't get around to getting back to the Blade itself until like Monday after I've finished Beach Reads, because I really just wanted to be able to finish like that for my TBR, for my Reading Rush TBR. But I don't know, there's just so many things like running through my head like right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, and I am going to see what is going on, and then I will probably check in with you guys later on tonight, after I've settled back in and I start to read Beach Reads. Hey everybody, it is now Sunday, 8 o'clock at night. I didn't check in with you guys yesterday. I was tired afterwards because I get tired a lot, especially like this weekend. So I we rented Bloodshot last night with Vin Diesel in it. It's the new movie, like the new action movie. I'm gonna give it like a C+ to a B- because like Vin Diesel has been really kind of typecasted in these particular action roles, and it was good, but like I wouldn't say like it's anything like revolutionary. And really like what was the coolest thing about it was probably the special effects. The storyline itself was kind of like a little bit reminiscent of like Matrix style technology, but without the philosophical angle. It just felt like it was very surface level. So I wasn't super excited about it. After I watched it, it was okay, but I didn't love it. So that's the movie we watched last night for movie night. But after that, I kind of got tired. I actually read about 20 pages of Beach Read last night by Emily Henry. And guys, I woke up this morning and now it's 8 o'clock at night, and this is all I've done today in between, like, you know, snacking and eating and stuff, and I finished it. I read this whole thing in a day, which means I got both of the books that I really wanted to read done for the reading rush this weekend. Like, there was a third book, I'll probably try to get to that one like after I finish my Owls. But oh my god, guys, like, this is a new all-time favorite. This is a new 5 out of 5 stars. This was such a great book. I loved this book so freaking much. So you have like the main character named January. January is this author, and she moves to this beach house that was her father's, and come to find out her father was having an affair. So her world's kind of just shattered around her. Like her father had a funeral because he died early on in the book. This is not a spoiler. This happens like right at the beginning of the book, and it was very heartbreaking, and she kind of just fell apart. And then her longtime boyfriend, I believe of 7 years, 6-7 years, somewhere like that, he ended up breaking up with her because she was no longer the sunshiny person like that he had dated, which was kind of heartbreaking also because, you know, like, she tried to keep it together, and then like the one time that she didn't, him and her like he wasn't really supportive about it. He wanted her to be somebody that she wasn't, and he didn't like the darker parts of her. Well, she moves in to the beach house, and there's this obnoxious neighbor. I'm sure you guys know where this is going. There's this obnoxious neighbor who is just this awful person. And come to find out, it's not only a hate to love trope, but come to find out it's actually like this guy that lives next door to her, his name is Gus. And this happens like within the first like 5 chapters. And come to find out, he and her had gone to college together, and they were college rivals. So on top of the hate to love, we also have this relationship. Now, the hate to love thing, like the rivalry and everything, like, they actually get over that pretty quickly. And what I think I really loved most about this book is it spent the entire book embracing like your dark past and trying to overcome the things like that prevented you from being in love long term before. And really, like, it makes you the hurdles and not like, you know, circumstances in general. But it really dives into that, and like how people are dark and flawed, but they can also be happy and raise the sunshine and just really, like, you know, very dynamic people. And like, this book just really embraced that. It also embraced, you know, like of course, like, there are 2 authors. Like, he's always like writing the books like with the unhappy endings, and she's always writing the books with the happy endings. And so like there is like a lot of like there is like a lot of difference, but to see like these characters kind of trying to overcome everything negative in their life and try to be better, it was just such a wonderful ride. And I highly recommend this. And I think it was just such an amazing book, and how it dove like into all the complexities of love, and it didn't go overboard with anything. And it's just, they spent the entire book almost building a friendship, and then it became enemies. It was like enemies to friends, and then friends to friends, and then friends to lovers. And it was just this whole evolution, and they spent so much time just kind of building up the friendship that by the time we actually got to the love part, it's like I loved the friendship so much, like, that I didn't even care if we got to the love part. Like, I just loved the friendship. Like, I'm glad, like, I'm not gonna give you guys any spoilers, like, in this, because, like, I want you guys to be able to experience it, but, like, it's just, I am gushing over here about this, like, right now. Like, this is another all-time favorite. I've read 2 all-time favorites. In the Dream House, like, that book's a new all-time favorite. The Beach Reads, this is a new all-time favorite. This has actually been a very successful readathon, and I am so in love with everything that I've read so far. So this is where I'm probably going to be ending the vlog, because my camera's getting ready to die. But I'm going to be going back to this tomorrow. You guys will probably hear about this later on, like in another video, when I do wrap-ups and stuff, because, like, this is, I still got like about 200, like, no, I got 300 pages left in this book. I did not have time to get to this weekend, but I'm planning on going back to that next. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was so choppy, and I'm sorry, like, I wasn't around a lot for it, but this was like one of those books, like, that I just got carried away with today, and I just could not put it down. So, like, that's like why this is like the first time you guys are seeing me today. And I loved it. I passionately 100% loved it. It's gonna go on my favorite shelf. It's one of the best romances, like, that I've read in a while, and I am just all over this. It's so good. It's so good. If you guys have had an opportunity to read this, Beach Reads, it's totally worth your time. I binged the whole thing. And then In a Dream House was also just so wonderful. Like, they completed all 4 of my prompts for the Reading Rush Stay in Reading Rush weekend readathon. So I'm really happy about that too. If you guys like this video, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon if you guys want to receive emails every single time I post. I am also on Instagram, Twitter, Amazon, and Goodreads. Those links are linked in the description below. If you guys want to come chat with me, I would really love it. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon.